Hi, it's Andy Bauer here at Object Arts. In this tutorial video for Dolphin Smalltalk, I'd like to take you through the construction of a simple game called the Lights Off game. Now, those of you who are familiar with Pharo Smalltalk will recognise this as an example that's taken from the Pharo book, Pharo By Example. The way we create it will be somewhat different because we use the Dolphin Model View Presenter framework. But even so, you should find out that you should see from this example that it's fairly straightforward. I've built a version of this game to show you, just so you can see what we're trying to create. And I've installed an example for it in the samples folder. If I double click it, you see we get a 10 by 10 grid of lights, and clicking on any of the lights will toggle the state of its nearest horizontal and vertical neighbours. So if I click here, those four lights turn off. If I click again, they turn back on. The purpose of the game is to try and find a way of turning off as many lights as possible. Okay, now before we actually go on to creating any code, let's just look at the objects behind this. I'm going to use the visual inspector to take a look at what we've got here. So if I go and choose the inspector and click on the game, you see we have a lights out game, and this is a presenter object. This is a presenter, and you'll see that it has a model of a lights out board, and that model consists of a number of cells, in fact 100 cells, and each of these cells is a value holder object holding a Boolean value that represents the current state of the light. And in fact, I can turn one of these on and off, and you can see how that works. Okay, if we go and take a look, so that's the top level object. But if we go and take a look at the sub-presenters inside there, you'll see that we actually have a number of lights out cells. And in fact, there are 100 lights out cells. Each one contains one light. And again, these are linked to the appropriate models to turn the lights on and off. And we have a custom view for these, because there's no other view in the system which will do quite what we want. And this is called a lights out cell view. Okay, so that means if we just take a quick look in the package browser, and we look for lights out game, you should see that we have four classes that we're going to create. We have the lights out cell presenter, which is the presenter for each one of these cells. They don't need a unique model class, because as we saw, that's a value holder holding a Boolean value. But they do need a lights out cell view, which is capable of displaying that Boolean value in the way that we want, with either the yellow square or the blue square. And then we have a model, which will be our lights out board, which contains 100 of the value holders, one for each light. And we have a presenter called lights out game, which represents the overall game and has as its model the lights out board. Okay, so without further ado, let's get on with this. Let's remove the existing game from our image. I'll install that. Okay, and we're ready to go.